So what would you like to be famous for? Hey friends, it's Pastor Mike from Fellowship Church. Always love to connect with you midweek. Good to be back with you after a week off. Hope you had a wonderful week. Hope you're taking good care of yourself. Know that we love you and we're praying for you. That question for you again, what would you like to be famous for? Now, I know you've been waiting for this for a long time. This coming Sunday night, the 12th of March, is the night when the Oscars are on TV. That's right, the annual Academy Awards celebration. It's the night when Hollywood pats itself on the back and then pats other people on the back for the roles that they played in movies. And of course, they have awards that they give out for best actors, best actresses, the best movie directors, all the way down to the gaffer boy or something like that. But they have all these awards that they give out for people who have made themselves known by being actors and actresses. It's the night that Hollywood celebrates itself. Last year's Oscars was one of the most entertaining in years. It's the year that Chris Rock got slapped by Will Smith. That certainly made the news. Unfortunately, I probably won't watch the Oscars this coming Sunday night. I'll be washing my hair, all of them. But friends, for those of you who like to watch the Oscars, it's all the glitz and the glitter and the glamour, and people want to know what different actors and actresses and performers are wearing. It's a night when we celebrate people who are famous for their acting ability, their ability to make movies. So here's my question for you again. Of all the things in the world to be famous for, what would you like to be famous for? And here's a better question. What do you think the church ought to be famous for? What do you think the church should be known for in the world in which we live today? The world that is becoming increasingly unchurched and de-churched, and people deconstructing and setting aside their faith. What do you think the church ought to be known for? Acts chapter 2 gives us the answer. Acts chapter 2 is, of course, when Pentecost takes place. You probably read that in your Bibles before. A little farther down in Acts chapter 2, we read this wonderful summary of the church, where it says that they had all things together in common. They were worshiping on a regular basis, worshiping with one another in the temple. It was a great little paragraph describing the early church. Acts 2:42 to 47, that paragraph ends with this. And the people enjoyed the favor of all the people. The church was famous for something. So what were they famous for? They weren't famous for their agendas. They weren't famous for taking social positions on anything. They were really, really famous for caring for people. That early church was really, really good at keeping their doors open. And they kept their doors open to some of the lowest of the low in their day. We know that the early church not only stood for the truth of Jesus Christ, they had their beliefs down pat, and they were following their beliefs wholeheartedly, but they were taking in people that society cast away and cast off. The early church was taking in people who were suffering from diseases that were contagious in one form or another. They were taking in people who had no other visible means of support. The early church was bringing in those who were homeless. They made themselves famous by doing exactly what Jesus did, by reaching out to the lowest of the low in their society, bringing them into their families and their homes, providing for them, and then sharing Jesus with them. Of all the things that the early church could be famous for, they became famous just for taking care of the people that nobody else wanted to take care of. And here's a question for you, friends. What are you willing to be famous for? And what do you think the church ought to be famous for today? And when we look at the church in the world around us, including Fellowship Church, what are we known for? What are we famous for? And are we famous for the same things that early church became famous for? What do you want to be famous for in this world, friends? I just want to do what Jesus did. I hope that makes a mark on your life. It certainly has for me over time. Hope you take good care of yourselves this coming week. What are you famous for this week? What would you like to be famous for? Know that we love you and we're praying for you. Take good care of yourself. God bless. Bye-bye.